So folks, I don't normally show up on camera for videos like this. If you want to see me, you can catch the streams, or if you want to see more of me, you can watch my hands in the toy videos. But today's topic is so egregious that I had to pull out the camera, light this room, and get ready to talk about one of the most asinine comments I've ever heard in entertainment.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Now, we've talked about pop culture shit in the bed for quite a long time. If it wasn't Amber Heard, it was, well, every other actor that runs their mouth and says stupid shit. At this point in time, it kind of goes hand in hand with entertainment. I don't expect a new movie from Disney to come out without some actor running their mouth, no matter if it's a man or a woman, no matter if it's political, racial, whatever. I always expect that from Disney. But what I don't expect is a situation where years removed, after so many other things have come and gone, one actor is trying to bring up some racial tension to draw attention to himself. And well, it's working, but for all the wrong reasons. Now, the actor in question is one John Boyega. You might know him from Attack the Block, but around here, people know him as Finn from Star Wars. And well, nobody really disliked Finn here on this channel. Now, we only have an online reach of close to 250,000 people, but we've never once complained about this thing that John Boyega is talking about. Now, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I'm not white. I don't know if you knew that, and I really don't care, because it's irrelevant to the conversation. My videos aren't about race, they're about toys or merchandise or things that don't sell, or entertainment or stupid-ass actors who run their mouth and make it about race. That's when I step in, because I'm all about everybody. I have equal disdain for every human being. But in all seriousness, folks, when actors say stupid crap like that, it doesn't make me just roll my eyes. It makes me a little angry because we do this thing called taking a step backwards. And nobody wants to take a step backwards. We want to move forward. But we can't have that because of actors like John Boyega. Now, you've been watching this for just a moment. You're probably wondering what he said. Well, let's talk about that. In a recent documentary, #1 on the call sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood, what a great title, John Boyega sharply criticized racist Star Wars fans who resist diverse casting in the franchise. He remarked that the series has always had a vibe of being in the most whitest elite space, highlighting his presence as Finn, a black stormtrooper turned hero, unsettled some viewers. Boyega mocks fans who point to characters like Lando Calrissian and Samuel L. Jackson's Mace Windu as sufficient representation, saying, "It's like telling me how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough." He further noted the double standard where black actors are accepted as sidekicks but face backlash when stating, "Once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my god, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering." Reflecting on his career, he called The Force Awakens a fundamental moment, but didn't shy away from addressing the prejudice he and co-star Kelly Marie Tran and Amandla Stallberg endure from toxic fans. Last time I checked, that lady from The Acolyte and John Boyega have no crossover, so hey, way to just name drop to draw attention to yourself. But let me give you a little more attention, John, because this is bullshit and it's not world class. Let's take it back to 2015. What are my complaints with The Force Awakens? Terrible storytelling, terrible characters, a pointless plot, which is rehashed from the original, and it's a money grab that everyone can see coming a mile away. At what point did I talk about race? See, here in this fandom, most of us say that Finn wasn't treated right. The one character who was mildly interesting and not a rehash of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, or Princess Leia. He was the one guy who was a bad guy and was going to be redeemed into a good guy, and we were going to follow his journey, and most people that aren't in the country of China were cool with it. We didn't want Rey, the lady who was handed the lightsaber, but the black guy can't speak up and say that feminism trumps racial equality because it's 2025 and he still wants to work. All of this racial talk is really frustrating because as a guy who looks like me, I never once look at a character and go, ooh, I identify with them, that's who I'm supposed to like. No, that is stupid and regressive. Take a look on the shelf behind me, will you? There are tons of characters. There are Power Rangers, there are X-Men, there's wrestlers, The Rock. Guess what? They're all different colors. I don't go in to buy something and go, what looks the most like me? What can I go home and feel empowered by seeing on my shelf? No, that's stupid. I look at something and go, that's pretty cool. I want to have that. Or, oh, I collect the rest of the set. Gotta catch them all in regards to Pokemon and stuff like that. But I never once, in the 36 years of my life, ever looked at the race of a character and went, that's who I'm backing. It's stupid, John. Now, this must be an age thing, because John Boyega's a couple years younger than me, and when we grew up in the 90s, we didn't talk like that, we didn't act like that, we didn't think like that. This is the product of modernization, where we have to focus on what makes us different instead of a unified story about everybody. And everybody likes characters like Lando and Mace Windu. Why? Because they were well acted and well fleshed out. I love how John Boyega wants to use those two as prime examples, but let's take it back to the first Star Wars movie. There's only a handful of characters with speaking lines. There's only a handful of characters that have their name given on the film. But for some reason, John Boyega thinks, well, Lando is just a token character. No, Lando was actually the most interesting character. He's the first one to turn on his friends. He's the first one to try to redeem himself. He's the first one that actually made Han Solo look a little less cool because Billy D. Williams is just that cool himself. Never once have I ever encountered a Star Wars fan in the 30 years I've been a fan that goes, Lando's great, but if he was a little lighter, I might like him a little more. Nobody says shit like that. Nobody talks about let me have a quota for my minorities like I have chocolate chips in my cookies. And when we get to Mace Windu, the baddest mofo in the galaxy, oh, he's a minority, he's a token character. Guess what? Most of the Jedi aren't human. That's where this guy is full of shit. A movie like Star Wars isn't about black or white or Hispanic or Asian. It's about humans and aliens versus the Empire. Now, Lando Calrissian had a sidekick, Nine Nub. Was he black or white? I don't know. He was a Celestian. He was an alien. Han Solo has a sidekick. He's an alien. Again, if we're talking about the main characters of Star Wars, there's not that many human beings in these movies to begin with. And Mace Windu, he's the one black guy on the Jedi Council. Well, at least he has the rank of Jedi Master. But how many other random aliens and puppets and all this other crap is in it? See, John, that's the problem with people like you. You guys think that we're all focused on race and that if something's bad, it's because it's a racially motivated comment. I don't give a shit how dark you are. That movie sucked ass. I'll say it to your face, I'll say it to anybody's face. Hell, I did a comic book to tell you people how much I fucking hate that movie. Why? Is it racially motivated? No, because it's a piece of crap. It took something that was good and made it crappy. You notice on my shelf I don't keep Star Wars stuff anymore. Do I have it? Yeah, lots of it. But I don't display it anymore because it's associated with a movie like that. What, a mostly white movie? No, I'm not stupid. I'm not you. But these kind of comments really move us backwards because you're going to see people on the internet that are going to rage out and call this guy woke and this and that, and I don't really care to go into those buzzwords. I like to use a deeper language because I have deeper problems with stuff like this. If we go back to the early 2000s, even take it back to the 90s where all these people are nostalgic for, movies, it wasn't about the race of the character. Like I watched Independence Day the other day. It was not once about how Will Smith, a black guy, and Jeff Goldblum, a Jewish guy, were saving the earth. It's about humans fighting aliens to save humanity. The bigger picture. Sadly, John Boyega doesn't get the bigger picture. Sadly, China didn't get the bigger picture with John Boyega because we know what happened to John Boyega on the Chinese poster. But John Boyega doesn't have the balls to say that. He doesn't have the nerve to say, oh, they wiped me off the poster. You're going to lump in all Star Wars fans as white people who hate black people. And that is some bullshit. Again, not world class, my friend. Now, I highly doubt John Boyega would ever watch this video because his head is so far up his ass, he doesn't know which direction is up or down. But John, let me tell you this directly to your face. You represent nobody. No kid is growing up liking Finn. I know little kids that aren't white that have your action figure that relegate you to the back. Why? Because it's 1950s America? No, because you play a shitty character who is second fiddle to some random white girl that nobody likes. There's your racial comment right there. Blame Kathleen Kennedy. Blame the people in power. The fans are not sitting around, oh, that John Boyega, we're going to show him a thing or two. No, we're not thinking about you. We're watching the rest of Star Wars take a shit. We're watching it die on the vine. It doesn't matter if it's black or white. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It's all equally bad. And I guess that's what we want in 2025 is equality. Well, we have an equally bad franchise that no matter what you do, no matter how you deal with it, it's shit. And again, he brings up Kelly Marie Tran, aka Rose Tico from Star Wars The Last Jedi. Guess what? Kelly Marie Tran a few years ago put out an article or had an article put out in her name from the New York Times, the New York Post, one of those New York-based publications that we don't get here. And guess what? She didn't blame the fans. Just like Daisy Ridley, she left social media. People like John Boyega and the misinformed media want to tell you, oh, the fans ran Daisy Ridley off social media. They did not. Daisy Ridley herself even said, hey, I don't think it's healthy to grow up on social media, so I took it down. It wasn't the fans' fault. You can look it up. So folks, all of this is really, really frustrating to me. I'm not going to go on any further. All I can tell you is this. I am disappointed when I see garbage like this because it does nothing good. It riles people up and it associates garbage with the franchise. Star Wars needs something. This 20th anniversary of the Revenge of the Sith re-release is going to be good for a weekend, but it's not going to save Star Wars. It's just going to remind you, the people, of why you liked it in the first place and what you hate about it right now. That is the saddest thing about the Star Wars fandom. It can't win for even trying. Nothing it will do will ever win back the goodwill of the people because it's been bad entertainment. It's never been racially motivated entertainment. Hell, Star Wars was much more diverse before Disney came along. What about characters like Captain Panaka? Captain Typho? Those are just a certain type of race. But John Boyega thinks everything is black and white. Look at Jango Fett. Tamara Morrison, what is he, Maori? That is not a white guy. He is the most represented person in the universe, the galaxy. Everybody looks like that dude. Did we ever complain, why aren't the clones white? No, we go, why don't the stormtroopers all look the same? That's it. That's the shit fans are concerned about. We're worried about in-universe continuity or characters that really follow in the suit. That's it. It's never a discussion of, oh, let me go online and complain about racism. Let me rattle my fist in anger. It's 2025, John. Pull your head out of your ass. We're all tired of shit like this. You're just like Rachel Zegler. You're looking to pop a reaction from the fans. You think if I drop this spicy nugget, people will pay attention to me because my film career's in the shitter. I wish I was Michael B. Jordan, but I'm not good enough to be Michael B. Jordan, so I'm gonna go bitch about how I was held down. They held me down for 5 years. They held me down because they're racist. Nobody holds you down. You are where you are because you absolutely suck. And that's the end of it. So folks, thank you for watching. Down in the comments below, let me know what you think about John Boyega's racist comments. I, for one, rolled my eyes so hard that I could finally see what my brain looks like. And well, kind of scared me. But I really just don't want to live in a world like this, where this is the talking point. It's documentaries like number one on the call sheet. I'm sorry that actors didn't get roles. I'm sorry that people in general don't always get what they want. If we all got what we want, we'd all be happy and living in sunshine and rainbows and all that other happy horse crap we talk about. But that's just not the reality of the situation. Just like race isn't the reality of the situation as to why people don't like Finn or Poe or Rose Tico or any of them. They're all crappy characters, and we all watched our favorite characters get brushed aside for them. So if there's any anger, it's anger that Luke Skywalker took a backseat to Rey. Not that Finn was black. Not that Rose Tico was Asian. It's the fact that Han Solo became a deadbeat dad after films of progress. Or the fact that Princess Leia goes out like a chump under a blanket. It's cool if you're Yoda, but Princess Leia deserved a little more pomp and circumstance. And that's where the fans are angry. Fans aren't angry at The Acolyte because it was the gayest, most diverse Star Wars show ever. Fans hated it because it was the crappiest, most pointless Star Wars show in history. Same with Ahsoka. Nobody goes after Rosario Dawson. Nobody talks about her race. Nobody complains about her being a representative of blah blah blah. Rosario Dawson was a good choice to play a okay character. I almost said good there, but I've seen everything Ahsoka's in, and why lie? It's not that great. But at the end of the day, this is all just John Boyega looking for attention, hoping that fans are gonna bite. Well, we're here to bite you back in the ass with some facts, with some truth, and with some reality. So John, if you ever decide to join us here in the real world, we'd love to have you and have a real discussion of why you're wrong. But that'll never happen, folks. So that's why you gotta hit subscribe so we can have it here on the channel. Because John Boyega and the people in Hollywood, they're too afraid to be honest with you. They gotta make up excuses to why their movies fail and why they can't find work. And you already know what I think. So folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back next time with more. In the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.